it's me, Asha C. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here to talk to you guys about the Megan Thee Stallion and the Tory Lanez case. So back in 2020, Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion and her former best friend Kelsey Harris, they were involved in a shooting. Now it was a big thing, and it still is a big thing, and it's an ongoing case right now. But many people were just like, who shot Meg? Who shot Meg? There was a lot of back and forth, and then we wondered why Kelsey and Megan and all that stuff. But anyways, this video will basically just be what happened in court today, a reaction or my live reaction to one of the lawyers involved in the case, and then I'm going to save my opinion and my theory for the last bit. So let's get into it. Okay, so this is according to Girls in Rap. No Jumper had tweeted, Tory Lanez and Megan trial day one. The defense opening statement, the defense called out the prosecutors for skipping and not mentioning Megan Thee Stallion's drunken tirade that led to Kylie Jenner kicking her out of the party. If you want to do a flashback, so Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, and Kelsey, they were all hanging out at Kylie's place, and this is what happened. When Megan Thee Stallion got kicked out of Kylie Jenner's party, Tory left with her. On the ride home, Tory and Megan started arguing, and Kelsey sided with Megan. Tory then exposed Megan had an intimate relationship with him behind Kelsey's back to get Kelsey to turn on Megan, and it worked. Kelsey then told Tory, oh, she always does this. Then she told Tory that Megan had an intimate relationship with DaBaby and Ben Simmons behind Kelsey's back after Kelsey began dating both men. This confession escalated Megan and Kelsey's argument. Good Lord. Defense alleged that Megan demanded that the SUV pull over moments later. She hopped out, went over to Kelsey's side of the vehicle, and began to beat up Kelsey. A witness, Sean Kelly, owner of the resident the SUV was parked by, told the police he witnessed this. The prosecutors say that Kelsey followed Megan to help her. At this time, Tory began to walk towards Megan and Kelsey. Kelsey approached Tory to stop him from approaching. When Kelsey approached him, the prosecutors say that Tory punched Kelsey and pulled her to the ground by her hair. Prosecutors allege that Tory Lanez then demanded they both get back into the SUV. Megan and Kelsey complied with his wishes. When they got back into the car, Kelsey sent a text to Megan's security When they got back to the car, Kelsey sent a text message to Megan's security guard, Justin Edison. Help, Tory shot Meg, 911. Prosecutors introduced evidence that showed Kelsey sent a text to Megan's bodyguard alleging Tory shot Megan. 5 minutes after the residents called 911 reporting that they'd seen and heard shots coming from a black SUV. When the police pulled over the SUV Tory and Megan was in, they located a warm firearm with a side lock position, which indicates every bullet in the firearm had been used. Prosecutors played an audio of Tory's call from jail to Kelsey. He apologized profusely. Prosecutors introduced three key pieces of evidence. Tory apologized to Kelsey from jail and blamed his actions that night on being drunk. Tory sent a text apologizing to Megan Thee Stallion. Tory allegedly apologized to Megan Thee Stallion's bodyguard, Justin Edison. Prosecutors offered an explanation for why gun residue was on both Tory Lanez and Kelsey. They alleged that Tory Lanez shot the firearm, but Kelsey tested for GSR, which is gunpowder residue, because she was next to Tory when he shot the firearm, and he got some on her when he assaulted her. So this is an official update on the trial. Let's go.
Trial. We had opening statements. Opening statements are still actually going. We had to pause midway through for lunch. Better than TV. If you watch the prosecution's opening statement, you would say guilty. If you then watch the defense's opening statement, you would say, what the hell is the prosecution thinking, charging him? Basically, the prosecution started with this story. They said that, hey, they're all at the party, and Tory is leaving the party with Meg. They're in the car. An argument breaks out, during which Meg says and insults his skills as a rap artist. This leads to a situation where she gets out of the car and he shoots at her feet and yells, "Dance, bitch." And then she ends up at a hospital, and a doctor takes out 3 fragments of bullet wounds from her foot. Now, if you just hear, and the prosecution says that Kelsey, the other woman in the car, is going to testify that Tory shot Meg. And Kelsey has a text message where she texts somebody that, hey, Tory shot Meg. And then the rest of the prosecution's case is based on all these calls and texts where Tory's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so drunk. He never says that I shot him. He's like, oh, I'm just so sorry. I'm so drunk. So question what he's apologizing for. So that's the prosecution's case. Seems pretty easy. Then the defense comes up, and man, it gets spicy. First, the defense goes, they're not telling you about half of what's going on. The most important thing they're not telling you about an eyewitness who saw 2 women fighting, Kelsey and Meg. And so let's talk about why them 2 are fighting. Let's talk about how she was in the front seat. The gun was caught in the front seat. Let's talk about how she might have gunpowder. She does have gunpowder. Let's talk about how this has nothing to do with the fight between Tory and Meg and everything to do with the fight between Meg and Kelsey. And then the defense starts dropping the bombs. He basically says this, that they're in the car. Yeah, they left. But do you know why they left? They left because Kylie and Tory were in the pool together. And Kelsey and Meg both felt some type of way about that, to the point that Meg felt really some type of way about that. And she was really trying to go, to the point that eventually, because of how Meg is acting, this is according to the defense, Kylie Jenner goes to Meg Thee Stallion and says, it's time for you to leave. They all leave. The defense's point is what happens in the car is this. Tory questions Kelsey, hey Kelsey, why are you backing up Meg for me trying to, get it on with Kylie Jenner? Meg has been snaking men from you your whole life. I hooked up with you, Kelsey, and then Meg went behind your back and hooked up with me. And Kelsey, this is not the first time. You had been hooking up with Ben Simmons. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with Ben Simmons. You have been hooking up with the baby. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with the baby. And so the defense starts dropping all these grenades. The crowd is captivated. The jury is like, oh, what's going on? And there's every reason to believe that there could have been a fight here, not between Tory and Meg, but between Meg and Kelsey. And the shooting could have not been Tory. It could have been done by any one of the other people in that car. What does all of this mean? Well, I'll tell you a couple things. First, Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's husband, is going to testify, so this will continue to be must-see TV. 2, the judge is terrific. I expect a very fair trial. The lawyers on the defense side are terrific. I don't know what the government lawyer was doing, giving an opening presentation that made it seem like the most open and shut case ever, when in fact there are huge questions, including an eyewitness who saw 2 women fighting, suggesting that you have to explain that theory to the jury, and you didn't. So I don't love the prosecution's opening in that regard. Stay tuned. We'll have the full coverage here. It's up and it's stuck in the Tory Lanez trial. All right, we're back with the rest of the update in Tory Lanez. So we are taking our afternoon break. There's going to be more testimony at the end of the day. But right now, let me catch you up on what's happened since lunch. The defense continued and concluded their opening statement. They confirmed that their theory of the case is going to be that Kelsey was the shooter. Tory was just trying to break up the fight. Then the prosecution went up. They put on a police officer as their first witness. This is the police officer who arrived at the scene of the shooting. He testified about how he saw gun casings, blood spatter. This was a big mistake in my opinion, because the defense attorney ended up tearing this police officer's testimony to shreds. He basically got the officer to admit that they did not use the proper evidence markers to mark and identify the location of every piece of evidence. So the police cannot tell you where blood was found exactly in relation to the gun casings, where, based on the trail of blood, the victim would have walked around. They can't tell and paint the whole story of what happened when the person got out of the car. Why, if you can't paint that story, why, if you didn't use the evidence markers, why, if you purportedly have a very simple case, did you waste your time making your first witness a police officer whose testimony is going to get torn to shreds by the defense attorney? Big mistake in my opinion, if you ask me. From here going forward, the defense will always be able to point out that the government's investigation is completely incapable of telling the jury about the movement of the victim outside of the car. So if you're trying to inject reasonable doubt, alternative theories, you've now done a great job setting it up that the government's story has holes in it. All right, we're back with the rest. All right, we're back.
Just with all this information that I have received, I gotta break it down case by case. One, it's unfortunate that Megan lied twice in the case. One, she told that the officers that she stepped on glass and it wasn't bullet shell casings, because I get it, you're trying to protect Tory Lanez, but they already found the gun in the first place. So it's just like, what? I get it. And I And I do understand Megan's reasoning for not being honest initially, because we're in the height of a George Floyd situation. There's one gun, there's 4 or 5 black people in a car, there's 4 black people in the car. Come on now. I definitely understand that. And then she left out details, because I remember she went on Good Morning America with Gail, and she said that no, she never had any sexual relations with Tory Lanez. But I feel like she was just probably embarrassed about it, which is understandable for a lot of women. But when it comes to a serious life or death threatening case like this, you have to be honest and you have to tell the truth on everything, because everything makes sense. If Megan didn't sleep with Kelsey, if Megan didn't sleep with Tory Lanez, they would have probably still been friends, because they fell out over a dude. I essentially feel like they fell out over a dude. And I feel like everything starts to make sense. In my theory, this is what happened. They're arguing. So basically, I feel like Megan slept with Tory. Tory slept with Kelsey. And maybe Kelsey wanted to keep it on the low. But here's another theory. Tory, if you are sleeping with one of the best friends, why would you as a man go sleep with the other best friend? Wouldn't you have some like voice of reason saying, nah, I'm cool, like I don't want to do that? So I gotta say that it's kind of unfortunate that Megan lied twice in the situation, because a lot of people are crediting her story and basically calling her a liar, and then they want Tory Lanez to be innocent so bad. And I just feel like now that information that she allegedly slept with Tory Lanez is out there, it makes the story makes a little bit more sense. Now, I have to preface this saying that Megan did not deserve to get shot. Whatever you do or whatever you say, it doesn't warrant you to get shot or get harmed. You can cuss a person out all day. You could say anything, but once you go and physically harm them and point a gun at them, I don't care if you did it on purpose or accident, you meant to kill me and you want to harm me. And it's kind of funny that they're adding Kylie Jenner in this situation. In my opinion, I don't think Corey or Kylie got anything to do with it. Like, they just were arguing. Anything that happened afterwards, they left the house. So like, why do they need to be involved in the trial anyways? I don't know what happened, but I could give you a small theory. This is my simple, quick theory, all right? Unbiased. So let's just say, hypothetically, allegedly, Megan slept with Tory, right? Megan slept with Tory. Kelsey slept with Tory too. And she was probably, like, yeah, I slept with him and da-da-da-da-da. And Kelsey's probably able to get to these high profile people. And then they said Ben Simmons. Kelsey was able to get to all these high profile people through her connections. And of course, through being Megan's assistant and best friend. There, right? So from there, Tory keeps that on the low. He keeps it on the low with Megan, saying, yeah, like, I slept with you. I slept with the best friend. He's living life. So Megan and Tory are getting closer, and they're probably feeling each other because they both lost their mothers at one point. They both lost their mothers. So they probably relate on that aspect. Another thing that comes into play is that night, Megan, when you're drunk, the emotions get high and you don't really think coherently. And so Megan probably really was feeling Tory, because they were spending a lot of time together. I think that altercation was like the tip of the iceberg. It's like where everything came out. I don't know if Tory, or I don't know if Kelsey did it, but here's how it could go. I feel as though Megan probably was talking and violating him so bad that he got the little man short complex and decided to feel big and shoot her, which is absolutely wrong. It could have been another situation where Kelsey was trying to, move the gun off and hey, don't shoot her. And it probably went off anyways. Maybe that's where the gun residue came from. But then they said that the gun residue came from Tory pushing or yanking Kelsey by the hair. Do you see how crazy this case is? It literally is like, it's literally like a mystery because like we're trying to use all the different scenarios to solve it and we just can't. But this is an ongoing case, y'all, and I am just like, I had I had to hop on camera and just talk about this. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye.